All right, let's talk about a skill that is absolutely essential for surviving and thriving in today's workplace: setting healthy boundaries. Now, this isn't just about damage control when you're already burnt out. Think of it as your secret weapon, a way to proactively take control, protect your peace, and actually enjoy your job. So let's get right into it.
Does this sound familiar? You get that email ping late at night, or a project request lands in your inbox on a Saturday. There's that nagging feeling that you are always on the clock. If you feel like your work and personal life are just blending into one big, stressful blob, I promise you, you are not the only one. It is a huge challenge for so many of us.
And this isn't just a hunch. It is a full-on workplace phenomenon. Just check out this stat from a recent survey. A massive 57% of people who've quietly quit said that setting clear professional boundaries was the thing that actually improved their work-life balance. That really shows you just how powerful this is.
So, let's dig into the root of the problem here. This feeling of being completely overwhelmed, it's not some personal failure on your part. Nope, it's a direct result of the lines between our work and home lives getting fuzzier and fuzzier, mostly thanks to all the tech that keeps us constantly plugged in.
And the fallout from that is very, very real. When we don't draw those lines in the sand, it pretty much always leads to this nasty cocktail of problems. You get chronic stress, you start to feel resentful, and, here's the real kicker, your own productivity and the quality of your work actually start to suffer.
Okay, so if a lack of boundaries is the disease, what's the cure? Well, we have to get super clear on what we actually mean when we talk about workplace boundaries. Understanding this is really the key to flipping the script.
At its simplest, boundaries are basically the invisible lines we draw around ourselves. They're there to protect the things that really matter: your time, your precious mental energy, and your overall health. Think of them as the personal rules of engagement that you set for yourself and then communicate to everyone else.
I absolutely love this quote because it paints the perfect picture. Think of your responsibilities at work like property lines around a house. You wouldn't just let your neighbor start building a shed in your backyard, right? Of course not. Well, it's the same idea. Boundaries make it clear what's yours to own and what isn't, and that gives you a real sense of control.
And this is such an important way to think about it. Boundaries are not about putting up walls to keep people out. It's the opposite, really. They're about creating the freedom and the space you need to do your best work. They build psychological safety, where everyone on the team knows the rules and feels safe enough to be creative and productive.
Okay, I get it. The word boundaries can still feel a little vague. So let's make it way more concrete. We can break it down into 4 main types. Once you see these, you'll be able to pinpoint exactly where you need to draw your own lines.
First up, we have physical boundaries. These protect your personal space. Next, emotional boundaries. These are so important for protecting your energy from things like office drama. Then there are intellectual boundaries, which are all about your ideas and making sure disagreements stay respectful. And finally, the big one for so many of us, time boundaries. This is all about protecting your most valuable, non-renewable resource, your time.
All right, now for my favorite part, the practical stuff. We've talked about the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. This is your step-by-step guide for actually putting all of this into practice starting today.
We're going to walk through the key actions. First, we'll reflect so you can figure out where you even need a boundary. Second, we'll talk about why you should start small. Third, we'll look at how to use the tools you already have to your advantage. And fourth, we'll practice the oh-so-important art of saying no.
First things first, you gotta do a little self-reflection. You can't defend a boundary if you don't even know it's being crossed. So ask yourself, what are the things you complain about after work? The stuff you vent about. Those feelings of resentment or being overwhelmed, they're like big flashing red lights telling you exactly where a boundary is needed.
Next up, remember that you don't have to make some huge dramatic announcement. The best way to start is small. Seriously, little things like putting on headphones to signal you need to focus or pushing for a clear agenda before you accept a meeting invite, those are powerful first steps. They build momentum and they teach people how to treat you, all without a big confrontation.
Okay, our third action is all about making technology work for you, not against you. Think about it. Your calendar, your Slack status, your email, these are amazing boundary-setting tools. You can block off focus time, set an away message, or create an after-hours auto-reply. Let the tech enforce the boundaries so you don't have to.
And now for our final action, learning how to say no. I know it can feel so uncomfortable, but saying no isn't about being difficult or unhelpful. It's about protecting your yes. It's about making sure you have the bandwidth to do high-quality work. And look at these examples. You can be polite, professional, and firm all at once. Practice these lines so they feel natural when you need them.
So, you did it. You set a boundary. That's awesome. But what happens when someone pushes back on it or just straight up ignores it? Because let's be real, it's going to happen. This next part is all about how you make your boundaries stick for the long haul.
Okay, this is a really useful idea, the difference between hard and soft boundaries. A hard boundary is a non-negotiable. It's a line you draw to prevent real harm, like saying you absolutely cannot work late because you have to care for a sick kid. But a soft boundary is more like a guideline, a kindness to yourself. Like, you try not to check email after hours, but for a true emergency, you might bend the rule. Knowing the difference helps you know when to stand firm and when to be flexible.
So what do you do when somebody crosses that line? The trick is to address it calmly, and if you can, right in the moment. Because if you stay silent, you're kind of sending the message that it's okay. A simple, polite reminder is all it takes. Something like, hey, just a reminder that I'm offline after 6, but I'll be sure to tackle this first thing in the morning. It's clear, it's professional, and it gets the job done.
And last but not least, please remember that this is not a one-and-done thing. Your job will change, your life will change, your priorities will change. The boundaries that served you last year might not be the right ones for you today, so you have to make it a habit to check in with yourself, see what's working, and be willing to adjust. It's an ongoing practice.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Not for next week, not for tomorrow, but for today. What is one small, simple boundary you can set for yourself right now? Maybe it's just blocking out 30 minutes for lunch on your calendar so no one can book you. Whatever it is, that small step is the beginning of taking back your time and building a much healthier and happier work life.